There is a continent where time doesn't simply move forward, it coils back into circles of memory. Where the ancient isn't buried, but still alive, in stone, in temples, and in the eyes of its people. Where nature isn't still, but roars through volcanoes, breathes deep in the jungle, and melts slowly through icy rivers. This is the Americas. A land of beginnings, kishin, and unhealed fractures. From forgotten civilizations to cities born of hope and exile. Every landscape has a soul. Every soul, a legend waiting to be told. And this journey is your key to unlocking 1,000 worlds hidden within one continent. So tell me, where will you begin? With the echoes of Machu Picchu, the salt flats that mirror the sky, or the streets where salsa and sorrow dance hand in hand. Come with me, from north to south, across 20 untold stories, 20 heartbeats sync to the rhythm of this land. Your compass is curiosity. The map, rewritten with every step. And now, the journey begins. A country that reaches the frozen edge of Antarctica, yet borders the driest desert on Earth. It sounds impossible, and yet it exists. This is Chile. A ribbon of land stretching more than 4,300 kilometers from north to south, yet barely 200 kilometers wide. Chile is not only shaped like a chili pepper on the map, it also burns with a fiery, intense spirit. A land of vivid contrasts where nature performs in its boldest forms. In Patagonia, snow can fall in the heart of summer, dusting the granite peaks of Torre del Paine National Park, while far to the north, the Atacama Desert remains so dry that parts of it haven't seen rain for centuries. Under the southern skies, in Punta Arenas and on Magdalena Island, Magellanic penguins waddle freely along the coast. Meanwhile, in Antofagasta, the earth is scorched red with stone, sand, and blinding salt flats that stretch into infinity. And if Chile's wilderness is a grand symphony, then its volcanoes are the dramatic notes that rise and roar. More than 1,300 volcanoes, with some still very much alive, like Verica, which smolders beneath a crown of snow, a constant reminder of the land's untamed energy. Chile is also a meeting point of tradition and modern life. Tag Valparaiso, a vibrant coastal city where homes seem to cling to steep hillsides, where murals breathe life into every wall, and century-old funiculars continue their quiet journey up and down narrow streets, just as they always have. And who could forget Chilean wine, the distilled soul of this land? Sheltered by the mighty Andes, blessed with Mediterranean climates and glacial waters, Chile has become a paradise for winemaking, exporting over 1.2 billion liters a year. Among them, the legendary Carmenere, a grape once thought extinct in France, thrives here, reborn as the beating heart of Chilean viticulture. So where does one begin in a country that seems to defy geography itself? With so many wonders, glaciers in the south, deserts in the north, and volcanoes in between, choosing a starting point may feel overwhelming. But perhaps the journey should begin at the very heart. Santiago, not just the capital of Chile, but the crossroads where past, present, and future meet beneath the gaze of the Andes. Cradled in Chile's Central Valley, between the snow-capped Andes to the east and the misty coastal range to the west, Santiago unfolds as a city shaped by contrasts where nature and modernity meet in quiet equilibrium. Home to over 7 million people, Santiago is not only the political and economic capital, but also the country's cultural, academic, and creative epicenter. During the winter months, a layer of smog may occasionally veil the skyline, but within just an hour, one could be skiing in Valle Nevado or soaking in the Pacific breeze at Viña del Mar. Few capitals in the world lie so close to both mountains and sea. Founded in 1541 by Spanish conquistador Pedro de Valdivia, Santiago began as a small outpost with a colonial checkerboard layout. Over centuries, it has transformed into a global metropolis, home to skyscrapers such as the Gran Torre Costanera, the tallest in South America at 300 meters. The Mapocho River cuts through the city from east to west, linking historic quarters like Barrio La Staria with the modern financial hub known as Sanhattan. For those drawn to history, La Moneda Palace, Chile's presidential seat and former mint, marks the site of the 1973 military coup. In front stands the statue of Salvador Allende, the president who refused to surrender and perished within those very walls. It remains a somber yet powerful chapter in the nation's collective memory. From a painful past to a dynamic present, Santiago is a crossroads of art, cuisine, politics, and innovation. You'll find century-old bookstores next to minimalist cafes where students and entrepreneurs share ideas. This coexistence of styles gives a city a rhythm that's both swift and contemplative, modern yet rooted in tradition. A must-see is Parque Metropolitano, one of the largest urban parks in Latin America. Take a cable car up Cerro San Cristobal and enjoy sweeping views of the capital, ideally with a chilled glass of mote con huesillo, a beloved Chilean drink. Santiago also makes the ideal base for exploring Chile, from the wine valleys of Maipo to the Andes in the east and the Lake District in the south. It offers the convenience of a modern hub while keeping nature just within reach. Thanks to an efficient metro system and an international airport with global connections, Santiago increasingly attracts visitors who choose not just to pass through, but to stay, to live, and even to fall in love. One of the most dramatic mountain routes near the capital is the Los Caracoles Pass, which connects Santiago to Mendoza, Argentina. The road is famous for its steep incline and over 20 tight switchbacks, zigzagging through the Andes without guardrails in many sections. Located along Route 60, it begins near the town of Los Andes and rises to nearly 3,200 meters above sea level at the Cristo Redentor Tunnel. Snowfall is common in winter, often requiring chains or special tires, and truck traffic can cause long delays during peak seasons. Still, the route offers stunning views of rugged peaks and glaciers making it one of the most iconic drives in South America. But to truly grasp the soul of Chile, one must leave the capital behind. As the landscape shifts southward, so too does the rhythm of life, slower, greener, more elemental. Follow the spine of the Andes, past vast farmlands and shimmering lakes, into a region where nature breathes more freely. There, nestled between forested slopes, in a smoking volcano, lies Pukan, a town that feels like it was drawn from a postcard, but pulses with very real energy. For it lives under the shadow of one of South America's most active volcanoes, Verica. Can one imagine a place where white snow and molten red lava coexist, just hours apart on a mountain trail? Each step along the cobbled streets of Pukan's center traces the layered history of the Araucania region, once the front line between the native Mapuche people and the Chilean military. On February 27, 1883, a Chilean army unit marched toward Pukan and set up camp. That moment marked the historical birth of this small town. It began as a strategic military outpost to control the mountain passage through the Andes. But not long after, German traders in wood and leather laid the first foundations of a permanent settlement. Names like Hike, Holsapfel, and Martin weren't just immigrants. They were pioneers who helped shape the early identity of Pukan. In 1904, the Chilean government granted land north of Lake Verica to a group of entrepreneurs from Santiago, triggering a wave of migration. 20 German families soon settled in Lafenco. But not all arrivals were welcomed equally. The native Mapuche were pushed into designated reduced residency zones in Palguimbajo, Curarahue, and Quelhue. For decades, the local economy revolved around timber and livestock. Massive logs were piled at La Posa port, waiting for transport. Travelers would take the train to Verica, then cross the lake by boat, a journey as dreamy as a fairy tale. By the 1930s, Pukan had also become a haven for sport fishing enthusiasts, a passion that still thrives to this day. Do you enjoy the calm of holding a fishing rod by the lake, with a smoking volcano watching from above? From 1945 onward, artists, intellectuals, and writers found inspiration in Pukan's seclusion. The Antumalal Hotel became a symbol of that refined lifestyle. From dusty paths to proper infrastructure, things evolved. By the 1970s, new roads to Kaburga, Huifa, Likenray, and Kurarahue opened the door to mass tourism. Today, Pukan stands as a premier destination for both Chilean and international visitors, offering ski resorts, hot springs, campsites, hotel, and countless outdoor activities. Yet the true heart of this land remains Verica, the nearly 2,850-meter volcano whose lava lake glows constantly beneath its crater. In the language of the Mapuche, it is known as Horno Piran, the House of Spirits, a symbol of supernatural power and reverence for nature. One can climb to the summit, a 6 to 8 hour journey requiring helmets, ice axes, and even gas masks to avoid the sulfur fumes. We began at 6 a.m., moving in single file across the snow, each step cutting deeper into the icy crust, like a line of ants braving the wilderness. The view from the top is an unforgettable reward. Lake Verica gleaming in the distance, the Andes layered like a painted canvas, and below, the crater exhaling warm smoke. Those not keen on climbing can ski instead. The Verica Ski Center opens every winter with slopes for all levels. When the sun sets and muscles ache, the hot springs offer healing. Termas Geometricus is a must-visit, Japanese-inspired design hidden deep within a lush canyon. Natural thermal waters at 104 to 113 degrees Fahrenheit alternate with icy 46 degrees Fahrenheit waterfalls, a cleansing ritual for body and soul in the heart of the forest. Have you ever immersed yourself in warm water, surrounded only by mist and jungle? Just 33 kilometers from Pukan is Werkehue National Park, a biological labyrinth of blue lakes, ancient Araucaria forests, and rare bird species. For photography lovers, nearby waterfalls like Salto El León or Ojos del Caburgua are ideal for long exposure shots. The lands surrounding Verica also serve as an open-air laboratory for scientists studying climate, volcanic ecosystems, and glacial shifts. Yet whether researcher, artist, athlete, or a traveler seeking rest, all are drawn to the intense yet gentle beauty of this region. With more than 50 eruptions since 1558, Verica is a constant reminder that nature never sleeps. It only pauses before awakening again. But perhaps it is that very wildness, combined with heartfelt hospitality, Mapuche culture, and untouched beauty, that makes Pukan so unique, untamed, and irresistibly enchanting. And now, are you ready to feel the force of a living volcano and hear the heartbeat of Araucania echo through the wilderness? Leaving behind the fiery Verica volcano and the town of Pukan, the journey takes us northward, about 160 kilometers, winding through serpentine roads beneath the towering shadow of the Andes. Three hours later, an entirely different world comes into view. Kongilo National Park, where ancient Araucaria forests, fossilized lava flows, volcanic lakes, and indigenous cultural heritage coexist, as if time itself has never touched this land. If one has ever wondered what Earth looked like thousands of years ago, Kongilo stands as one of the rare places where that primordial beauty still remains intact. Recognized by UNESCO as a World Biosphere Reserve and the heart of the Cutral Cura Geopark, Kongilo is one of Chile's most spectacular natural museums. From the Curacauten entrance, the landscape opens like a portal to another world, where visitors may encounter an ancient Araucaria tree known as the mother of all trees. Taking 200 years to mature and 500 to form its distinctive umbrella shape, this matriarch may have witnessed entire eras pass by. Spanning over 60,000 hectares, the park feels like a living manuscript of nature's untold chapters. At its center stands the 3,125-meter Lima volcano, called by the Mapuche the Artery of Rebirth, a mountain that has awakened over 70 times. Its most recent eruption in 2008 carved a path of lava that now feeds a network of crystalline lakes. Lakes like Arcoiris, Verde, and Captrain glimmer like emeralds set in a field of rock, their deep hues contrasting starkly with the parched land around them. Most iconic is Lake Kongilo, the green heart of the park, where campers pitch their tents to watch the volcano's reflection shimmer on still waters, or simply lose themselves in the whispering wind that moves through forests of millennia-old pines. Every corner of Kongilo is a vivid page in Earth's geological saga. Araucaria trees, also called monkey puzzle trees, rise like prehistoric giants, some living more than 1,000 years. For the native Pehuenche people, their seeds, piñones, are sacred nourishment. More than food, they are the spiritual essence of the land, woven into place names and ancestral traditions. Those fortunate enough may get to taste roasted piñones or local porridge made from pine nuts, seasoned with Mapuche spices. Ever wondered what a 1,000-year-old tree might taste like? The park is not only a living archive of geology, but also a shared home to a diverse array of wildlife: playful Chile foxes, elusive Guiana wildcats, majestic condors, and eagles soaring like ancient spirits painting the sky. Some lucky visitors may even meet members of the Pehuenche community, people who have lived in harmony with these ancient pine forests for generations. Along the winding trails, old lava flows long cooled now nurture fertile soil, living proof of nature's miraculous regeneration after volcanic fury. The flavors of this land are deeply rooted in Mapuche tradition: golden empanadas, grilled meats spiced with smoky mercan, and steaming bowls of charquicán stew. The meal ends with forest berries, crunchy chestnuts, and a warm glass of chicha, a fermented apple drink that wraps the palate in highland sweetness. After days roaming this untamed wilderness, shoes coated in volcanic dust, the soul feels strangely light. Kongilo doesn't shout to be seen. It enchants in silence. The whisper of wind through a thousand-year-old Ericaria. The cool mist rising from distant waterfalls. If Kongilo is a deep green symphony of dense forests, glacial lakes, and restless volcanoes, what awaits in a land without a single tree? Far to the north, Atacama unfolds as an entirely different world, silent, searing, and ancient, like Mars carved into the face of the earth. Caught between two opposing forces, the towering Andes and the vast Pacific Ocean, the Atacama Desert emerges like an alien world on Earth. Covering over 100,000 square kilometers, it has been recognized by Guinness as the driest desert in the world, with regions that have not seen a single drop of rain in centuries. This extreme aridity results from a rain shadow effect caused by the Andes blocking moisture from the Amazon, combined with the cold Humboldt current blowing in from the sea. The outcome, a land where temperatures swing from 32 degrees Fahrenheit at night to 86 degrees Fahrenheit by day. An icy silence cloaked in desert. Most journeys begin in the Valle de la Luna, the Moon Valley, where every angle stuns the eye. Jagged rock formations sculpted by wind, cracked white salt crusts resembling reptile skin, and golden sand dunes create a landscape that mirrors the surface of the moon. As the sun sets, the light shifts from blazing orange to deep violet, casting a surreal glow across the valley. Footsteps crunching over dry salt, the wind whistling through stone crevices. These are the only sounds breaking the near-total stillness. Before dawn, the path leads to El Tatio, the largest geyser field in the southern hemisphere, located at 4,300 meters above sea level. As the first rays of sunlight break through the icy air, dozens of steam columns rise skyward, painting a dreamlike scene. Visitors can soak in natural hot springs, feeling the Earth's warmth beneath a towering mountain backdrop. Wildlife watchers may spot vicuñas roaming the plains or Andean hares darting between rocks, resilient creatures thriving in this hostile terrain. Amid this seemingly lifeless expanse, shimmering lakes appear like mirages, small, salt-rich basins that defy the harshness around them. Fed not by rivers but by underground aquifers and the slow melting of distant mountain snow, these desert lagoons form in natural depressions where water collects and evaporates slowly under the burning sun. Their high salinity, a result of intense evaporation and mineral buildup over centuries, creates surreal colors, turquoise, emerald, and milky white, depending on light, depth, and mineral content. Some lie so still they reflect the sky with mirror-like precision. Others crust at the edges with salt, forming delicate patterns like frost on glass. In a desert defined by absence, these lakes are rare moments of presence, fleeting, fragile, and breathtaking. From the silence of the Atacama, we journey south, where the earth turns green and lakes mirror the skies. Puerto Varas awaits, nestled by calm waters and watched over by the snow-capped Osorno volcano. Tucked along the shores of Lake Lenquihue, Chile's second-largest lake, Puerto Varas appears as a gentle intersection of history, culture, and untamed nature. Founded in 1853, the town emerged during Chile's southern colonization efforts, led by government policies encouraging settlement in the remote south. German pioneers brought with them agricultural expertise, building techniques, and the memory of a homeland, echoes of which still linger in every home, every habit that shapes daily life in Puerto Varas. The town was named after Antonio Varas, a prominent 19th century Chilean statesman. Yet it was the German immigrants who truly shaped the spirit and appearance of this place. Walking down the quiet streets, one encounters steep-roofed villas, wooden shutters, and pristine white churches, as if a piece of old Bavaria had been delicately set upon Patagonian soil. It is no coincidence that Puerto Varas is often called the City of Roses, not only for its blooming gardens, but for the romantic, meticulous character infused into its every detail. Today, Puerto Varas stands as a vivid testament to cultural blending, Chilean in rhythm, but German at heart. Its cuisine reflects this duality. Golden-baked kuchen sits beside fresh lake-caught salmon, and traditional German sausages are paired with South American wines. Traditional festivals still come to life, from beer celebrations to open-air concerts, rekindling the memory of those first immigrant generations. And yet, rising above all architecture and human endeavor, it is the Osorno volcano that remains the eternal symbol of Puerto Varas. With its snow-covered peak and perfectly conical shape, Osorno looks as if molded by a mythical artist. Towering at 2,652 meters, the volcano is more than a visual marvel. It is a geologic witness to the region's turbulent past. Its past eruptions poured lava into nearby lakes, leaving marks still etched into the Earth's crust. Charles Darwin once described Osorno as a giant torch rising from the darkness, a testament to a time when nature was wild, untamed, and absolute. Now Osorno is a companion to climbers, skiers, and mountain lovers. From town, one only needs to look up to see its summit mirrored in the lake below, a surreal symmetry of fire and water, grandeur, and stillness. Here, one might begin the day with coffee overlooking the lake, spend the afternoon exploring Mapuche archaeological sites, and end the evening watching the sun set in purple hues behind Osorno's peak. Puerto Varas is neither loud nor hurried. It is slow, timeless, and profound. Between the winds of the Andes and the still waters of Lanquihu, history continues to echo, not through words, but through the gaze of cobblestones and window frames that open toward distant volcanoes. What waits just beyond the horizon, if not the Andes rising, brutal, breathless, and blinding white? At an altitude of 3,000 meters above sea level, Valle Nevado is not only the highest ski resort in South America, but also a miniature universe, where winter breathes life into every moment. Skiing in the middle of summer, though it may sound paradoxical, is a fascinating feature of the Southern Hemisphere during July and August. The main ski season stretches from late June to September, when snow blankets the slopes and the air is as clear as crystal. Sunlight glimmers on the snow like powdered diamonds, a scene that invites every visitor to pause and take it all in. With more than 40 kilometers of ski runs and 17 modern lifts, the resort welcomes both beginners and seasoned athletes. Some routes reach as high as 3,670 meters, offering a true sense of altitude conquest. Chairlifts glide visitors through clouds and mountains, with a white valley below, a panorama both surreal and majestic. Few know that Valle Nevado was designed by French architects in the 1980s, modeled after ski resorts in the Alps. As a result, the resort bears a distinct European charm, orderly, tranquil, and deeply marked by Western aesthetics. Even those who don't ski can still enjoy the resort through its spa services, outdoor hot tubs, and refined cuisine. On calm afternoons, sitting by a fireplace, sipping Chilean wine, and watching the snow fall brings a rare sense of serenity. At night, the skies are so clear one can see the Milky Way with the naked eye, something nearly impossible in urban centers. Cuisine at Valle Nevado blends Andean specialties with French and Italian influence. Fresh salmon, grilled lamb, empanadas. For nature lovers, the contrast between white snow, blue skies, and rocky peaks alone forms a perfect painting. Each evening, the resort becomes a gathering place for visitors from around the world, creating a warm, multicultural atmosphere. The high-altitude air enhances the flavors of wine. Even a light Carmenere can leave one gently intoxicated. There is a special piece here: no engine noise, no flashy ads, only snow, and the wind whispering across rooftops. On sunny days, from high slopes, one can catch glimpses of Santiago nestled quietly in the distant valley. Some visitors combine their stay at Valle Nevado with a wine-tasting tour in the Maipo Valley or a seaside stroll in Viña del Mar. Skiing at sunset, when sky and snow are dyed in golden orange hues, is an experience every traveler should try once. The three main hotels here cater to diverse needs: the upscale Hotel Valle Nevado, the family-friendly Puerto del Sol, and the more accessible Tres Puntas. Long-term visitors can rent cozy apartments with kitchens, heaters, and balconies facing the mountains. Sunscreen and sunglasses are essential. The high-altitude sun and reflective snow can quickly burn exposed skin. Those seeking a quieter atmosphere should visit early or late in the season, when the snow is still pristine, but the crowds have faded. Though not a national park, Valle Nevado is managed with sustainability and environmental care in mind. Nearby, guided snow walks, horseback rides, and even forest skiing offer equally compelling adventures. Taking the cable car up to the Andes at dawn feels like floating in a sea of clouds, an image not easily forgotten. Valle Nevado is not merely a winter sports destination. It is a place to slow down, to reflect, and to breathe in the pristine mountain air. The northern tip of the Carretera Austral is home to Horno Piran, a small town whose historical roots trace back to the time it was originally called Rio Negro. However, to avoid confusion with other places of the same name, locals gradually adopted Horno Piran, named after the towering volcano that stands behind the village. In Mapudungun, Horno Piran means snow oven, a vivid expression for a land where fire and ice coexist. This region was once part of the ancestral territory of the Chono people, an indigenous group who lived along the fjords, relying on seal hunting, seaweed gathering, and shellfish for survival. The maritime routes that visitors sail today, such as those through the Comau and Renyahue fjords, were once vital trade and survival corridors for the Chono centuries ago. Horno Piran sits at the intersection of two worlds, the forested slopes of the Andes and the deep-sea culture of Pacific coastal communities. Though modest in size, the town once played a strategic role as the northern gateway to the Austral route, paving the way for the 20th century exploration of southern Chile. Even today, ferries linking Horno Piran to southern villages remain essential to Patagonia's transportation and tourism networks. Horno Piran National Park was established in 1988 and significantly expanded after a landmark 2017 conservation agreement between the Chilean government and Tompkins Conservation. This agreement included the donation of rare private lands to enlarge the protected area, a prime example of cooperation between the state and nonprofit organizations. It was not just a step to preserve nature, but also an effort to safeguard the cultural heritage tied to ancestral lands. At the heart of the Andean Temperate Rainforest Biosphere Reserve, Horno Piran protects ancient Allers forests. Some trees here are over 3,000 years old. Each tree trunk, each geological layer, tells a story of ancient peoples, dormant volcanoes, and the enduring passage of time. Though there are no recorded recent eruptions, Ash deposits suggest that Horno Piran volcano had at least two major eruptions roughly 10,000 years ago. Could it be that the indigenous peoples once revered it as a sacred mountain, a silent yet mighty deity? Today, the local cultural landscape reveals itself through a slow-paced life, traditional wooden houses, and summer folk festivals that still thrive. Culture here isn't something one learns from books. It's something felt beside a fire, in a glass of wild berry liqueur, or in a firm handshake shaped by the forest. Horno Piran is not merely a destination. It is a vessel of ancient memories, quietly waiting to be discovered. And farther south, where the road twists through mountains and fjords, another secret awaits. Caleta Tortel. This village has no streets, only wooden walkways that stretch for over 7 kilometers above the tides, tracing the edges of fjords and climbing through forested hills. Founded officially in 1955 to support cypress logging, Tortel had welcomed settlers long before that. The first were the Chilote people from Chiloé Island, known for their woodworking and seafaring traditions. They arrived with wooden boats, axes, and stories passed down over generations. Before a road was built in 2003, Tortel was nearly unreachable. Only boats and seaplanes could find their way here. No cars, no pavement, just a town woven from wood and water. Each cypress plank laid in the walkways carries the spirit of survival and invention. The people shaped their world using only what the forest and the sea could offer. Life here moves slowly, in harmony with rivers, rain, and time. But just beyond the calm lies a shadow, Isla de los Muertos. In 1904, around 200 workers from Chiloé arrived to harvest timber. When winter came, no supply ships followed, and many died from an unexplained illness. More than 100 graves were found on the island. Most are now gone, claimed by the sea and the silence of time. Only a few moss-covered tombs remain, whispering what history cannot explain. Yet Tortel is not just a place of loss, it is a land of myth. Stories speak of a buried city of gold hidden in the surrounding fjords. Others tell of a man cured of cancer after meeting beings from another world. Local belief blends legend, memory, and the rituals of the Kawascar, ancient seafarers of the channels. These people lived entirely on boats, their lives shaped by water and wind. Today, sculptures around the village honor their legacy. Houses here are built like boats, sturdy, slanted, made to resist moisture and erosion. In Tortel, stories are passed down through salmon stew, raspy songs, and hands worn by rain and labor. Valparaiso is not just a city, it's a state of mind, a vibrant maze of colors spread across 44 hills overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Nicknamed the Jewel of the Pacific, this city was once the most prosperous hub in South America during the 19th century. Valparaiso is more than a place, it's a symphony of history, art, and sea. Before the Panama Canal existed, Valparaiso was one of the most important seaports in South America, welcoming ships from all corners of the globe. Can one imagine a city where everything begins with the sea, its economy, its culture, and even its dreams? The streets of Valparaiso weren't planned. They emerged naturally, winding and twisting with the contours of the land, full of improvisation and character. The old funiculars, some over a century old, were once vital to daily life. Now they stand as living historical monuments. Valparaiso was the birthplace of many Chilean firsts. The first volunteer fire brigade, the first public library, the first stock exchange. Did you know this city was once called the San Francisco of the South, known for its sophistication and wealth? When visiting Valparaiso, one steps into a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized since 2003 for its remarkable architecture and cultural richness. The colorful houses on Cerro Alegre and Cerro Concepcion aren't just beautiful, they reflect the free spirit of the port's people. Locals, who call themselves Valpo, live by their own rhythm, open-minded, artistic, and quietly proud of their bold past. One experience not to miss, walking up the stairways covered in graffiti, where history and art meet on every step. Valparaiso is the cradle of Chilean street art. Walls, garage doors, and even trash bins become vivid canvases. Massive murals speak of social issues, history, or simply personal dreams. There's no other place quite like it. You can even join a graffiti tour led by local artists and try your hand at painting a white wall in the heart of the city. On Bella Vista Hill stands La Sebastiana, the house of poet Pablo Neruda, where ocean views meet poetry read from the soul. Neruda didn't choose this place by chance. He adored Valparaiso's poetic chaos, its beauty unshaped by convention. Have you ever been in a city where rooftops are walkways? In Valparaiso, it's real. Each stairway leads to a terrace above. Below lies the working port. Above, vintage cafes, flower-filled balconies, and sweeping views across the bay. European immigrants once brought knowledge, music, and art, shaping one of Chile's most multicultural urban identities. Its architecture blends local wood, European techniques, and the improvisation demanded by wild terrain. Wandering the old quarters, one might find a Gothic church beside a bohemian bar, charming in its eclectic contrast. The Bay of Valparaiso is a place to sit for hours, watching ships and waves, feeling the pulse of a city forever tied to the sea. At Plaza Ishorin, one of the city's oldest corners, local bands play live music, echoing through time-worn streets. But the city also has quieter corners, hidden bookstores and alleyways, old photo studios with film cameras, and art workshops that open only when inspired. Its cuisine blends maritime traditions, like grilled fresh salmon, with youthful creativity, local cocktails, and Andean-style tapas. An odd delight, locals might invite you to hunt the wind, as sea-facing alleys often channel the port's signature strong gusts. Valparaiso has soul and layers. It's not a place to see in a day, but one to breathe, to live, and let it soak slowly into memory. Many artists come seeking inspiration and end up never leaving. Cafes may be nothing more than a balcony with a couple of wooden chairs, yet they offer million-dollar views and vintage tunes. Perhaps what makes Valparaiso special isn't polished beauty, but its flawed, lively, unapologetically real charm. There's nowhere else like it, nowhere quite as tangled and truthful. If one loves places that preserve memory, tell stories, and stir the soul, Valparaiso is a journey that resists ending. And if you ever find yourself lost on its hills, don't worry. In Valparaiso, getting lost is part of the experience. Further out in the ocean, 3,700 kilometers from land, another mystery awaits: Easter Island. Setting foot on Rapa Nui feels like entering a world forgotten by time, where massive moai statues still stand in silent vigil, gazing toward the past. How did ancient islanders carve more than 1,000 stone figures, each weighing several tons, and transport them across rugged hills without metal tools or wheels? A visit to the Rano Raraku crater, often called an open-air sculpture workshop, reveals astonishing clues about how these moai came into existence. The remnants tell of a once thriving civilization that eventually declined due to environmental overuse and resource exhaustion, a lesson still deeply relevant today. Before Europeans arrived in the 18th century, the island's population ranged from 2,000 to 3,000 people, but within a century, it had dwindled to just 111. Festivals like Tapati Rapa Nui offer rare glimpses into a cultural revival through traditional dances, music, and ancestral rituals. One of the island's enduring mysteries is that all moai face inland. Could it be that they were meant to protect the community, not the sea? Strolling through the village of Hangaroa, one might hear locals teaching their children Rapa Nui, a language once on the brink of extinction. Inside the Anakaitangata cave, faint paintings of seabirds survive, echoes of the Birdman cult. A mysterious tradition that once replaced the moai's spiritual role. Easter Island is more than a place to admire stone statues. It is a whisper from history, a remembrance of life, loss, and the quiet resilience of a culture once nearly forgotten. From the snow-covered lands of the far south to the fiery volcanoes of the north, Chile comes to a close, like a chapter filled with vibrant imagery and quiet echoes. But the journey through South America is far from over. At breathtaking altitudes, where jagged peaks meet wide, wind-blown plateaus, Bolivia awaits, a doorway into a world unlike any we've seen. A land where salt plains stretch to the horizon, where cities brush the clouds, and where ancient traditions breathe through every marketplace and every watchful eye. Now, we turn the page to Bolivia, the next chapter in this remarkable journey across the Americas.